someone may have made a knee-jerk reaction to what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Who told you you didn't qualify? The roofers or the program? Because that's just going to reimburse you.
The three roofers that came by, everyone told me I qualified. The evaluator that was sent over by Louisiana Fortified Homes spent almost an hour in my took pictures and everything and told me I qualified.
Okay.
Now all of a sudden,
who's telling you you're not qualified?
grant coordinator, his name was Corey Powell, and that was 1924. Then approval authority, Thomas Travis, that was 11220. But the guy that my grant coordinator on 2/27/24, as I stated a few seconds ago, he said, I am recommending approval for you to select a contractor for your bid to submit. And now they tell me I don't. And I just need to find out if I have any type of legal recourse before I let this go and find out later.
I don't know if you need legal advice. I think what you need to do is just stay after the fortified program. And look, it's a new program, right? So there's going to be some kinks in it. And, it's a government program, so there's going to be some kinks in it. So I think what you need to do is just continue making the phone calls and staying online. Look, I need an email, something in writing, right? That's going to confirm to everyone everywhere, you're the evaluator, you're the person that's in charge. You're telling me I am qualified. I need to know so I can pass this along to someone else. And then when you get it in writing, don't just take a telephone call. Say, please send me an email confirming that. Here's my email address. If you don't get it, call back and say, be
yeah. A lot. It's not much different than when Road Home was rolled out. Not much different when they had the program to raise your foundations. You got to understand there is a certain amount of inefficiency and in government. I'll leave it at that. And so a lot of times, SBA loans, same way. A lot of times it's just a matter of putting in a lot of hours, staying on the phone. And if you run into a brick wall, I would ask for a supervisor. And a lot of times when you ask for the supervisor, because maybe the frontline person who was just hired for this program, who really doesn't know a lot of the terms and conditions and is still learning themselves, they will help you. So it's just a matter of staying after it. And I think an unintended consequence of these programs is that if you don't have that kind of determination for that particular grant, you fall off of it. In other words, people just throw up their hands and say, no, I'm not going to do this because it's too bureaucratic. So there's no getting around but staying on the phone and asking for internal appeals, because there's no legal recourse per se. It's a grant program, which means it's a in essence, I want to say it's like a gift. So the state is immune for making decisions to deny or improperly deny a grant. So you don't have that kind of resource. So you're going to have to use, just be after it, and it's just going to take a while. And if you hit a few dead ends, just continue to call. Like Albert said, ask for emails, document. And if you really, really hit a wall and you've done everything that you can, I would call your state legislator and I say, look, I've hit a brick wall. Can you look into it for me? And a lot of the good ones will. So it's just persistence.
I should file a complaint with the Louisiana Home Insurance.
No. That's not going to do you any good.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They don't have to give it to you. I mean, they really don't. It's a grant program. So it's about persuasion, persistence. Be polite, but be persistent and persuade, and
get it in writing. Get it in writing, because when you go ahead and pull the trigger and the guy comes out to put the roof on, you want to be sure to say, hey, look, I this $10,000, a portion of this roof is, it's legit. Here's my email saying that I qualify and that they're going to pay the money when I'm qualified. So you need to, look, there's going to be some kinks. Just stay after it is all we can tell you to do. All right. Thank you for calling.
Thanks for calling. Let's go to a break. Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home of The Garden Show with Dan Gill. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Easy peasy.
All right, I have a
you can never get enough Saints coverage. We'll take you inside places most fans.
It's recent though.
To the sideline.
With Brian Wilson.
I'm Jeff Nowak. And
Saturday night.
The Saints season might be over, but the
It's
drama
2016.
is just getting started. If you don't want to miss a thing,
he sings it with someone else.
Check out video versions of our
Nate Roos.
Yeah.
Inside Black and Gold's available now on the free Odyssey app. And
See, what part of it do you want?
get inside Black and Gold today.
You want the chorus or what?
Mr. Nelson's teachings are still being quoted in school.
Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world.
Mr. Nelson taught hope.
Everyone who rises above their circumstances.
About 40 seconds.
Mr. Nelson Mandela's teachings not only unite us, they inspire us today.
Maybe I'll hit you with another variation of what I like.
You've heard it said, he's a diamond in the rough. Or maybe, diamonds are forever. Here's something else I've learned about diamonds.
You ever heard of a guy by the name of Oliver? I got some disco for you then.
When I start feeling like I want to get up, I think about that pizza.
You want to do that next? Or what are you thinking?
Yeah. That's it. We'll rotate.
So can I.
All right, so we still have Thomas and we still have Mike. Text message or anything?
Let's do Michael.
It's David German, Penny Grable, Nicky Pearl, Marco Bichigo. Answers? Everything.
Right now at Open Heart Stores, you can find the new collection of all your favorite designers from around the world, as well as the latest from local artists Crystal and Copeland. And your experience service, listen to this from Arabella. Hands down, the best jewelry boutique in the greater New Orleans area. The only thing that rivals their incredible selection of unique pieces is their customer service. And Matthew said, my family has been coming to Oakland Heart for years. We love that they are locally owned, operated, and care about the community. Come shop David Yerman, Marco Bichigo, Nikki Moto, and Ipok.
You're right. I took a crack at it. Like in the top 25 rankings of college basketball, there's not a team that doesn't have 3 or more losses.
Sunday mornings on Big 870. This is Attorney Michelle Demarest here. Today life can be complicated.
I know.
Families will open trust. Divorce, counseling, community. We make it complex understandable. Call me your office.
Still ended up as a 1 seed in the tournament. I know like one of the 1 seeds right now being Arizona. Arizona's 21-6. They got 6 losses. It's insane that a 1 seed would have 6 losses.
This story is called "The Ugly Truth About Timeshare."
There is no dominant team this year.
No.
You need my help.
I think Mississippi State
Financial Group
could win.
10 years ago.
Like they're going to be 8
This is very open. This is a very open year. And what's crazy is that like literally from number 4 to number 11, every team is 21-6. Every single team.
It's going to end. I recently helped a couple to have their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200.
So no, you're right. We're back at about 20. It is not
miles away.
Last year was like we didn't have. I think last year's final score was like a 4, a 9, a 5, and a 8 or something. It was all like kind of
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
All things legal with Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. That's Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to the phone line. Let's go to Michael in Gentilly. He's got some choice comments about the homeowners insurance. Hey, Mike.
Yes, good morning. I'm one of your frequent listeners callers as well. I had a pretty question. My insurance company that I was with, that I guess left my state was UPC, and my question was: is it too late to recover, or should I say receive, if I'm quoting it correct? I think it's called total recovery depreciation, total recoverable depreciation.
Lawsuit.
No, I didn't file a lawsuit. I was paid for
ACV.
Hurricane Ida on my property.
Right. Okay. You probably paid your actual cash value. Money is held back, which is your depreciation.
Right.
You probably not, because you'd have to collect it against LIGA, and your claim for recoverable depreciation has expired back on August 29th. Now, I've heard a few instances where some insurance companies on the honor system had paid recoverable depreciation, even though that the time period had expired, or the prescriptive period is what we call it. But against LIGA, we get a hard time getting LIGA to pay the initial portion of the claims. So probably not.
So for that recoverable
probably 99 out of 10. Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association. Yes, sure, probably so. I mean, LIGA steps into the shoes for UPC, and they're not paying out. Like I'm saying, they're not paying out the original. We're having a lot of trouble resolving claims that are existing for the initial portion, much less the RCV. So, in lawsuit. So probably not. You probably have to kiss that goodbye.
I got it. Well, I sure appreciate it.
All right, Michael.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks much. Let's go to Thomas in the East. He's got some problems with some loud animals. Hey, Thomas, you're on All Things Legal.
Yeah. Well, my problem is people that live right next to me, they got chickens in the yard, roosters going on, because roosters was quiet in the morning, but some roosters that quiet at 10 o'clock at night, these roosters go night and day, and they got the hens cackle all day, just clip, whatever, all day and all night. It's just driving me crazy. I'm just wondering, is there a law against that, as far as how many animals you can have in the yard? I heard it was in pens. I heard that you have to put them in pens in order to have them. I also heard that it's illegal to have roosters or hens in the city.
I mean,
that's why I called.
I would imagine, Albert, what part of town you live in?
I'm out in Houston.
I would imagine that the zoning doesn't allow for roosters and hens. I'm not, I don't know if there's a part of New Orleans East otherwise.
Yeah, you'll have to, what I would suggest you do, I don't know how internet friendly you are, but I think you could get on the internet and look up the New Orleans Municipal Code, because that's what's going to govern it. So look up the New Orleans Municipal Code, and you could probably search it. I would type in the word chicken, and I would type in the word animals, and I would type in the word pets, and just keep trying to search. And my guess is something will come up regarding that.
because
Definitely break after this.
these roosters is loud.
No rush.
And I'm talking about almost compatible if a person would blow a trumpet.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure they are.
loud, and it's just all night. I mean, it starts at 10 o'clock at night, and it don't never stop. These roosters, there's two of them in the yard. She got about 20 chickens over there, but that's all night and all day. Just noise,
Does she at least give you some eggs?
You know what? I'm doing some quick research. There is a provision for having chickens prohibited by the code, but I don't know if that applies to your, where you live. What I would also do, I would call your council person. You know who your council person is? Councilman, council.
Yeah.
I'd call them.
Yeah.
I'd call them. They would know that. I'd call Oliver Thomas and say, look, man, they did chicken. And he'll be able to tell you or help you out. Because what typically does in parishes at work is that if you have like a situation like that, you call your council person, take a look at it. And if there's a code violation, they will address it. So I would call your council person. They have staff, and find out if there's a prohibition of that, and he might be able to help you out. That's what they're there for. That's what that's what your council people are there for. They're to serve you. So, man, I wish you luck, and I hope you get some good night's sleep pretty soon. Let's go to a break, Ducks and Terry. I'll show you. We'll be right
WWL, home of the Home Improvement Show with Paul LaGrange.
Don't know if we want to take it here because the call might be a bit of a speedy one. We do have Slim. Well, yeah, Slim on the West. I'm not sure if there's any legal course of action that he can take. He worked at like a big corporate job and he got fired 2 weeks before he hit a year there.
BetQL. Smarter bets start with BetQL.
Do you want to take it here or do you want to take it after?
Because that would be a good thing to start. Jump off.
We get back at like 57 and a half.
No. Let's take it one step.
Yeah, we get back at like.
Finding the perfect way to say, "Will you marry me?" Hard. Finding a diamond engagement ring that will leave you speechless. Just head over to Oakland Heart Jewelers. Our dedicated staff will help you choose an engagement ring that is truly one of a kind, made with ethically sourced natural diamonds. Just listen to this report. You cannot say enough good things about Oakland Heart. Anthony made our experience picking an engagement ring so perfect and special without any pressure or stress at all. And Danielle said, everyone here is really nice and friendly. The guy who helped with our wedding ring set still remembers us after 15 years.
We can probably take that now. He doesn't really have an active unless he's got a contract.
Oh, there we go. Wow.
I don't know why he got fired. I can ask.
Well, it doesn't matter why he got fired. He can get fired for any reason.
I got you. Good thing I have a break. Do you want me to ask why he got fired?
Scared.
No.
I'll handle it.
I'll handle
it. To do that.
Just tell him to hold on through the news.
Is different.
Yeah. No. I'll let him know.
IRS, 5,000, 50,000, or 500,000.
Oh, you want a song?
Doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car.
Oh, you do. It's your turn.
No matter where you are. Call now. 800-575-5986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk for you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Protect your assets from financial uncertainty. Southern Coins and Precious Metals. SouthernCoins.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more? personal loan. Debt all-time highs. Debt relief advocates urge notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money.
You disconnected in this break. Do you know how long you were gone for? What, maybe 10 minutes?
Managing this debt relief
15. And it was what, like in the last 6 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you continue your show. I'm glad that it only took 15 minutes to be able to get it, but I was with them here yesterday for hours. I mean, I was home here doing other stuff, but they were stumped with the pushing time.
5226 800 888 5226.
Spring training is here, and the free Odyssey app has everything you need to get ready for opening day. In-depth team coverage from the biggest sports radio stations across the country, exclusive interviews with players, managers, and MLB insiders, and podcasts dedicated to your favorite team. Listen,
we're back in 10.
News from around the league, or choose
I'm gonna hit the rejoin. We got a little bit of time here. Why not?
on the free Odyssey app. Download it today. AUDACY.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nico and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. When we were talking about Thomas, I thought about my grandfather who lived on the end of Canal Boulevard. And they had a yappy dog that barked 24/7. And if you knew my grandfather, he wasn't much for calling authorities. He sort of took things into his own hands. And we remember visiting, and the yappy dog was no longer barking. And we asked him what's the deal with the yappy dog. And he had a little wide smile on his face. So
he said he went the wrong way, I guess, huh?
Something happened there, and
right.
So, but we wouldn't recommend Thomas to do that for sure. So, but anyway, it would be that would be annoying, and I can't see how you could have chickens in New Orleans proper, but heck, you know.
Yeah, I'll try to search real quick during the break and see if I can find something on the New Orleans municipal code. It's like municode.com or something, and then you can get to New Orleans. And whenever you have any kind of issues with zoning or Orleans Parish, this or that, what the rules are, it's searchable and it's available on the internet. So
yeah, and also too, one of the most underutilized people, I guess, servants or politicians are your council people. That's what they're there for. When you have these quality life issues that are affecting you, that's what they're there for, to help address that. In fact, that's why they're there. And so don't be afraid to call them. So
yeah, and you may not get with your council person, but they'll have an assistant or somebody they'll put that knows probably more about it than the council person. So
there you go. We'll go on to national news, local news. We'll be back for hour number 2 on All Things Legal. Stay tuned. We'll see you in about 10 minutes on All Things Legal.
Can you stick for a second?
Yes.
Real quick, I want to double check. I was listening, but I might have missed it. Being a caller on the phone or something like that. I heard you laugh or Michael laugh or something he said. Did I miss any cuss words or anything?
No.
Okay, I want to make sure. Whenever you laugh,
I was talking about my grandfather had a yappy dog. And he poisoned him.
No, I know, but it's like I said, my go-to is like if I miss something, but I hear you laugh, I'm like, oh fuck, maybe someone said balls again or dick or something. I was just double checking. You're good to go to the bathroom whenever you need to.
Voters recall the economy under Trump more fondly than they rate the economy now. On CBS's Face the Nation, moderator Margaret Brennan noted that perceptions of the economy overall have been improving. So she asked CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, why isn't that helping the president?
It's the comparison that people are making between how they rate the economy today and what they remember it being during the Trump years. And it's the remembering that's the key word there. I specifically asked, how do you remember it?
and 2/3 of voters say they remember it being good.
It's still one huge and dangerous blizzard, but fears it would drop 10 to 12 feet of snow on higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada are not coming to pass. National Weather Service meteorologist Brian Hurley.
The highest amounts were about 50, 48, 50, and we're only really expecting another, at maximum, 35 to 50. I don't think we're going to see anything over 100.
The largest wildfire in history continues to burn
people, including 83-year-old Joyce Blanken, her son Paul.
Even if she had gotten out of the house, there was no place to go. She kept us fed, and she took care of us, and she loved us, and what else could happen?
There are growing indications that a 6-week ceasefire in Gaza could be announced in a few days. The BBC's Weira Davies is in Jerusalem.
On the Israeli side, the main point for them is the hostages. They want to know which hostages Hamas intends to release under a deal, and also how many prisoners from Israeli jails would be exchanged in release to that number. Hamas has always insisted that Israeli troops should withdraw from Gaza and that Gazan civilians should be allowed back, particularly to the homes or what's left of their home areas in northern Gaza.
It's our song.
Albert, tell me that.
It was on this day back in 1931 that Congress voted the
21-6I, okay.
official anthem of the United States of America. It was written by Francis Scott Key, who was inspired by
I'm not seeing it chapter 21.
during the War of 1812. Historians urge you to celebrate on this day by flying the American flag and singing the anthem. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Cashback is not available on cash.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code radio for an extra 25
What
cents.
is it called? New Orleans what? Zoning?
Catch up anytime. Right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code radio for a 25 cents a gallon.
There you go. All right.
That's code radio.
WWL First News. I'm Ian Ozan on your official weather station, WWL.
Yeah, there we go.
Today, we stay mostly cloudy, but mostly dry. A little humid and warmer today with high temperatures. Mostly dry with maybe a spot shower. But we'll see some heavy rain and storms moving in late Monday through early Tuesday.
WWL TV meteorologist Alexa Trichler has a full look at the forecast coming up in just a few minutes. State troopers are now patrolling New Orleans' streets. That's according to officials with Louisiana State Police. As WWL TV's Rachel Hanley explains, more troopers will soon join them.
We're going to continue to increase those numbers.
Governor Jeff Landry announced the plan for a permanent state police troop in New Orleans when he first took office. He's the chronically understaffed NOPD is in shambles, and that troopers would help.
There's a major and a captain and lieutenants and sergeants and troopers that have been actively patrolling since January.
LSP Superintendent Robert Hodges wouldn't say how many are here already or how many he'd like to have in the city.
Police leaders say the troopers have been helping officers.
Albert's currently looking into what we texted about, and what we got texted about was also Albert's looking into that text message, and whoever texted us also called us to tell us that information as well, and telling Albert how inspection, insurance, chicken law. We know everything.
That's it. That's it. That's
I
why.
know. Like I'm sitting here. I'm titling that episode in that first hour in our podcasting. I'm titling it. Do you know your chicken law?
That's why we're on the superstation.
That's why you're here, baby. You make the big bucks because you know chicken law.
That's right.
And is costly.
We just ran through proposals that I think are going to cost the state more than $100 million.
All right. You straight up say you were talking about something, and then you said you kissed that goodbye, and that's what made Michael laugh. That's what.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch, slider got him looking. Strike 3. Justin Lohr slams the door with the 14th strikeout of the night.
In a hard-fought battle, LSU took down Louisiana 5-4 in Houston. Starting pitcher Gage Jump was excellent, throwing 5 shutout innings to earn his first win in a Tiger uniform. And at the plate, LSU used a 4-run fifth inning and a late solo shot by Hayden Travinsky to seal the victory. With the win, the Tigers improved to 10-1 overall, and they'll wrap up their trip to Houston this afternoon with a battle against Texas State. First,
I will say, here's one thing you can chew on if you wanted to get back into sports this hour or later in the hour or whatever. One of the things that you, Steve, and Charlie were talking about on Sports Talk Friday night were the fact that we were looking at the fact that, like, is this draft so good and is the Saints' position so good that it's difficult, near impossible for the Saints to mess this draft up? Like, is there a pick out there where you go, that was the wrong decision, that was the not right direction, we don't need this, we got too much of it, this isn't good enough? Like, there's honestly not, like, we're not really going to be too upset by anything.
I feel a bit warmer today and a bit more humid. Temperatures in the mid-70s.
I don't feel.
Yeah. Starting off with some patchy
Well, because there's a lot of areas of need. There's a lot of areas of
rain
need.
will last through early Tuesday, so we'll have to watch for some with the heavy rain coming in, especially early Tuesday. So keep that in mind. By Tuesday afternoon, we should dry up. We'll be nice and dry on Wednesday, still warm with high temperatures in the 70s, but another round of showers coming in by Friday. From Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Alexis Chrysler.
And I'm Ian Ozan, WWL First News.
From WWL, the News Talk Sports
good now.
of the Gulf South, with all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud.
Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the
or connect anytime, anywhere on the Artist app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Professional Credit Union Studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2 with Albert Nicaud. You can lawyer all things legal. Call 260-1870 on WWL, AM, FM, Odyssey.com. And Albert, you can do it. We have our friend. Thomas, just the people who just joined us. Thomas called before the break.
Go ahead.
Thomas just called before the break. He lives New Orleans East. Nice man, but distressed. We could see he was highly distressed. Can't sleep at night because there's chickens adjacent to him, and he wanted to know if there was any type of municipal codes prohibiting chickens, and is there something you could do about it, short of taking them?
Okay, well, there's a couple of things, right? We have the municipal code. So if he wants to go look it up himself, it's a municipal code, library.municode.com, then it's /Louisiana, LA/new_Orleans, and then just type in New Orleans municipal code, it'll get you there. Section 66-203 talks about specific nuisance noises prohibited. And then 203.1 says animals. It should be unlawful for the owner or keeper of any animal or fowl, which would include a chicken, to allow frequent or continuing noise which disturbs a reasonable person of normal sensitivity. Okay, that's pretty broad and whatever. Now, the next thing is the comprehensive zoning ordinance. It's czo.nola.gov. But if you type in comprehensive zoning ordinance, you get all the zoning ordinances. You can type in the word chicken. 21.6.1 talks about chicken coops. And it talks about the standards for making a chicken coop, et cetera. Then it gives you a couple of more little qualifications. Number 2 says no person may keep more than 6 chickens on any property at one time. And then, of course, no commercial activity, so they can't be selling things, right? It says roosters are not permitted. He's having problem with the rooster all night. Roosters are not prohibited. Roosters are not permitted. However, if the gender of a chick cannot be determined at hatching, a chick of either gender may be kept on the property for no more than 6 months. So, and it says chickens shall be kept in coops and fenced runs at all times. And they should be kept in coops from dusk till dawn. So there you go. It's pretty clear that these people are violating the comprehensive zoning ordinance, and call the code, code enforcement, and tell them, hey, look, this is what we got. You need to come write them up because I can't sleep at night. And they can cite comprehensive zoning ordinance 21.6.1, and then the noise ordinance under the municipal code, it's 66-2031. And we do it all, from trees to chickens to, you name it, right?
I'm just hoping a bunch of law students are listening to the show so they'll have that down for the bar exam.
Yeah, they'll be ready for the bar exam.
Now, I do have one question, and this might be for the Tulane law students. What if a rooster identifies as a chicken? Do we have a problem with that?
That's a good question. Because
that's more likely to happen in Orleans Parish as opposed to Washington Parish. So
exactly.
So there you go. All right. Well, that's pretty comprehensive there. And
I mean, there's a $50 fine for the first offense, $150 for the second offense, third offense, $300 fine, or imprisonment for not more than 90 days, or both. Regardless, the owner has to attend an animal or fowl. Attend animal or fowl obedience training classes sponsored by the Society for Prevention of Cruelty, SPCA, or any other competent authority. So there you go. And look, there's another one right here: persons playing musical instruments. So that's another one that was Justin might have benefited from.
Yes, Justin had. Now, I'm sure Justin's drum playing probably wasn't a nuisance because it was probably pretty good, pretty enjoyable. That would probably be his best defense.
That would have been pretty enjoyable for like 5 minutes.
All right.
The rest is full, Justin, but don't be playing the drums in the room next to me.
That's right. Well, good. Well, Justin in heaven right now probably sounds like Ringo Starr, so he's all good.
That's right. There you go.
All right. One thing I sort of want to talk about, and this is just a general concept that comes up quite a bit. There's some things that aggrieve people that they may have some type of inconvenience, but it may not be worthy of filing a lawsuit. We get a lot of calls like so-and-so had written something about me that wasn't true on Facebook, and I want to sue for defamation. I had another issue where someone was in a car wreck and their insurance company was picking up the car wreck, but he thought that the other driver wasn't injured, and he wanted to hire an attorney because he didn't want. He thought that he couldn't get away. He didn't want him getting away with trying to file a insurance claim with a false injury against his insurance company. There's a lot of things that you do get aggrieved about, but it's the legal the cost of litigation and the time and expense may not justify.
I agree with you, Doug. The cost of litigation is it's expensive, and we we charge for our first
I've got you on cue.
initial
I know
consultation.
you can hear me.
Not a
I know
personal
you can
injury
hear
or
it. And again, it's not on your end. It's on our end. I'm going to let
but
these
if it's an initial consultation, we charge for two reasons.
I'm
Number
just
one,
going to stare at your camera so
let
you can let me
people
know
know
when
up
it
front
pops back
that this is going to cost some money, right? And then secondly, we will likely tell you in that first hour 90% of what you need to know about our analysis of what your case is about. So it's a very important hour. And so, yeah, I do charge a fee, a consultation fee, but you know, it's very worth it. And it's again, you're going to learn more in that first hour about your case, about what the law is, what your chances of recovery are, et cetera, or whether or not you have a case and whether or not it's worth pursuing, like Doug was saying. You know, if somebody posted something on Facebook, and you know, for instance, I had a friend who owns a company, and somebody was running for judge and took a picture of himself and a guy who works at that company in front of the company sign, and then posted it on Facebook. And so somebody else running for judge was like, "Hey, what are you doing supporting this guy? You know, I thought we were friends, etc." And his answer was, "I had nothing to do with that. Somebody just took a picture, and you know, my sign is in public view, and he posted it. I don't know that I can really get involved and you know, tell him to stop doing it or take down the post or whatever the case may be." So, you know, it's just things are going to happen, right? And especially if you're in the public domain, which, you know, oh yeah, somebody took a picture of me when I was walking down Bourbon Street and I was drunk, and they posted it on Facebook. Well, I got an answer. You know, don't get all drunk on Bourbon Street in public, right? So, you know, there's some things that are just kind of common sense, and yeah, like Doug said, it might be something that stresses you out or upsets you or whatever the case may be. But you know, do you have a real cause of action for it? Likely not.
Yeah. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Clem. He's got a question regarding his employment law. Hey, Clem, what do you have for us, brother?
Yeah, man. Thank you. I've been in the supermarket business for 40 years, 30 years as a produce manager. And I was working at this corporation. I won't say their name. And they terminated me 2 weeks before I made a year because I took off a day. I called in one day. I didn't call in the other day. So they felt that I was supposed to call in both days. And my question is, I find it hard to believe that a job can do something like that to a person that has been a good employer for them, and without any ramifications. Like I say, I've been in a supermarket business for 40 years, 30 years as a produce manager. And first they took my title away. They say I wasn't produce manager material after being a manager for 30 years. And then they worked me like a horse, like a mule. And then 14 days before I made my year to get my week vacation and my sick pay, they decided to terminate me. I want to know, do I have any ramification of filing a suit against them? Because it was just cause because I had an employee that worked for me that took off one day every month because he was off on the weekend, and he took him a 3-day weekend every month. He either took off Monday or he took off Friday because he was off on Saturday and Sunday. And I'm just tired of this foolishness with employers doing this to people. Like I say, I was on a job for 28 and a half years, and they cut me loose 2 weeks before Christmas. And like I say, it seemed to be a reoccurring thing with these jobs that I've been on. I'm employed now with a company that I really like, I really love. Matter of fact, I'm off today, but I'm about to go to work because I got an employee that's been missing for 5-6 days. and I'm going to work. I'm on salary, so I'm not getting paid. I'm just going to make sure that my department is where it needs to be at. So I just
Well,
want to know, do I have any kind of ramification with these people?
well, you, sort of with ducktail and a little bit of what we talked about before. First of all, in Louisiana, it's an at-will state, meaning you can be fired for any reason that's not discriminatory in absence of a written contract for a specific period of time. So, what basically means you could be fired for any reason, um, unless it's based on a discriminatory attribute such as race, religion, age, national origin, or gender. Or if you had a written contract for a specific period of time and you were fired during the term without cause. Those are the only two reasons you would have a claim. Based on what you said, it doesn't sound like that you fit any of those categories. So you would not, based on what you described, you probably would not. And we have a lot of these conversations with employees who are let go. If you're the employer, you can let them go, right or wrong. You know, right. As long as it's not a discriminatory reason and you don't have a contract. Now, I would say in your case, and this is not legal, but it's probably pragmatic. You have another job. Success at another job is the best revenge against your old employer.
Well, the other thing is you would have a right, if you didn't get another job, you would have a right to bring an employment claim. And then they would determine whether or not you were fired for cause or not for cause. And the employer would come in and say, yeah, we have a rule. You have to call in every day you're out. You didn't call in, didn't show up. And so, you're terminated. And so, again, you've got another job. So that's kind of, that ship has sailed. So I think, like Doug said, just, move on, and it is what it is. I can fire you because I don't like the shoes you're wearing, or I don't like, the way you present yourself. I mean, it's an employer's business, and again, if you're an employer and you kind of continually do that sort of thing, word's going to get around that, hey, look, this employer is not where you really want to work. So, but anyway, yeah, that's really your recourse, or your lack thereof. It would be filing an unemployment claim, which in this case, you've gotten a job already, so it's not an issue.
So, yeah, but thanks. Good luck to you in your new job. Thanks for the call. And what I wanted to expound on that a little bit in Louisiana is it's an at-will state. And, we often, a lot of times when we have conversations regarding termination of employment, they go pretty quickly because it's pretty straightforward. You could have a situation where you're the salesman and you're the top salesman on your team out of 20. And you get fired. And you say, how did they fire me? I'm the best salesman. I do better than all the other 19 combined. They still have their right to do it. Now, whether it's not wise as far as their business is concerned to do that or not, that's a different determination, but it's not illegal or legal. If you're fired based on an attribute, an immutable attribute, based on your religion or based on your age or based on your gender or based on your race, you could file a claim under for a discrimination claim. But to be quite frank, those claims were a little more prevalent when we first got out of law school. But with the HR departments now, for most companies, it doesn't happen very often. It's less and less. Age is becoming less of an issue because the workforce. It's just less of an issue. The HR departments have caught up with those type of laws, and they don't let it happen. You used to have a lot of lawsuits in the early '90s for discrimination, sexual harassment, what have you, racial discrimination, and it became too expensive for the companies. So the companies have they've put in procedures and policies to prevent that. And I just don't. I just don't see it. We don't get a lot of calls for that, like as opposed to 30 years ago. So that's our issue's been resolved. So when you much like if you're an employee, much like I always tell beneficiaries to the trustee, you got to sort of make them happy to a certain extent because they have the power to hire and fire you without recourse for the most part, except unemployment. So there you go. All right, let's take a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL,
Who was that?
home of all things legal.
What do you think?
Sunseri and
But
Albert
what's the name of that
Nicaud,
song?
always
That's an
live
early
on the
one.
free Odyssey.
Your summer dream.
That is like super
How
deep. Here, let me get.
low can you go?
Let me see if I can find one.
So we did have, all right, for the last 2 weeks, coincidentally enough, both weeks, we had Sam from Gretna call in, and he's called in pretty late enough that we weren't able to get to him. This week he called in early. Very glad that he did. He has a question that's kind of vague, but again, we put him off for 2 weeks. So
Sam from Gretna.
He's calling. I remember what he's calling about. But he's calling specifically about an opinion that he raised for him, which is why he's calling about it. He's wondering what recourse victims have that have been affected by a crime. Now, that's vague as hell. I don't know if he means like financial recourse or legal recourse or what.
Right now,
but he is asking about like what recourse victims have that have been affected by a crime. We taking it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha.
If your
Do
bet
you like
wins, bet on all your favorite
Surfs Up?
NBA players
He
and
surfs
teams
up.
and
Surfs Up
exclusive
Beach
props
Boys.
and so much more. Just visit
You could
fanduel.com/Hebert.
do the
That's
beginning, actually.
HEBERT and shoot your shot. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA and WWL Radio.
21 plus to present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. $10 first deposit required. Bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
IRS on your back? Hi, this is Caitlin with Go Tax Resolution. If you've received a letter from the IRS or state demanding payment for back taxes, give the pros at Go Tax Resolution a call. Our team of former IRS agents and passionate resolution specialists will get to work right away. Owing the IRS can be scary, but you don't have to do it alone. Give us a call today at 957 and let us give you peace of mind. Or go online to gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX, taxresolution.com.
Hi, I'm Sam with Go Tax Resolution. I'm playing for the employer to expire this year. Now is the time to call. Call Go Tax Resolution 985-722-1040 before they expire. The employer retention tax credit is a refund that businesses may qualify for if they maintain their employees during the pandemic. Some credits will expire this year. Contact Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX, taxresolution.com.
You deserve a high-quality Medicare plan, and People's Health offers Louisiana's only 5-star rated Medicare Advantage plan for 2024. The 5-star enrollment period is happening now, and your benefits could start next month. Call 1-855-821-2666 or visit peopleshealth.com. Plans are insured through Healthcare Insurance Company, one of its affiliates. A Medicare Advantage organization with a Medicare enrollment in the plan depends on the plan's contract renewal. Every year, Medicare evaluates plans based on 5 under Medicare contract age 1961 are rated 5 out of 5 stars for 2024.
Join Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers in supporting ARC of Greater New Orleans. Donate your Mardi Gras beads at any Dudley DeBosier location by March 15th to help individuals with intellectual disabilities. Difference together.
If you're like most people in New Orleans, when you give a gift, you want to be remembered, cherished for a lifetime. For so many of us, the gifts that truly mean something have come from Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
I'm Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. with the good news, brought to you by Better Health. Advances in agriculture innovation to produce high-quality food in the United States continues to increase. The good news is the United States Department of Agriculture is now implementing its Agriculture Innovation Agenda, AIA, to enhance American agriculture's environmental soundness and food productivity. Quality food leads to
We're going to take
you'll do if you have more time in the day.
we missed him the last couple of weeks. He called in, but he called in a little too late. He's wondering, and yes, it sounds big, power through. He's wondering what recourse victims have that have been affected by a crime. Now, I don't know if he means financial recourse or legal recourse. He just means the word recourse at the moment. You guys can dive into that a little bit. We do have another caller. I'm going to put it in the chat.
That's the good news. I'm Benjamin Abtree.
We do have another caller. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Better help.
The diamond necklace plays upon.
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Open Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Albert Nicaud, you with the lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Sam from Gretna. Gretna, the home. Y'all got a great mayor in Gretna too. That's one of the constant. Man, if she was a mayor of New Orleans would be cooking. But what you got for us, Sam?
Yes, sir. Your council meetings on there, and our mayor and our council is very engaged.
Yes.
Unlike the previous regime, to where when I go to a council meeting, I'd leave. It's like, well, why did I go there? Our council people are wonderful as well.
Yeah.
Government turns slow, but you can see the effort and the engagement with the public. So I'm
she's
very
great.
appreciative. Since our DA, Mr. Williams, and Mr. Hale are not immune from carjacking, of course, nobody's like myself. I didn't get carjacked, but it was my turn on the victim train. I have a couple of questions. While I was out of town, a repeat offender drunk driver, illegal, although I can't prove that yet. That's what I'm working on. Since 2013, he's had a tab with Jefferson Parish. So he's not part of the new wave of invaders. So we can't pin that on the 80-year-old in chief. Not his fault. So what I'm wondering about is a couple of things. All right, this guy received no tickets whatsoever, even though he has like by 2 years. Hit and run because he left his truck was incapacitated. He ran off around the corner where he lives at, and the police got here so fast. By the time they got there, this guy sent his son or nephew around the corner.
Opposes the driver.
Wasn't for the
quick responsibility of the police.
They would have no lease proof. That's not the report. Now, trying to find some more information about his previous standing, being told over and over again that this is private information. Tell you that, and talking to a sergeant, police lady actually overheard the conversation and chimed in. It's state regulations. Which I thought was like hilarious. So the switching driver thing, that should be illegal, but it isn't to cover up like the driver in a wreck. And also, they can't prove that the guy actually owns it. Now, the last couple I'm told that since it was our license plate, he can't be written a ticket for no insurance, which I don't understand because insurance is required both in Louisiana and in Texas. My brother lives in Houston. I checked with him on that. So that doesn't make sense because, like, if I drive out of town going to my family, I have to have my insurance in the vehicle, even though I have Louisiana license plate. But I'm just wondering why the victim access to this information on the perpetrator. He violated my privacy by destroying my problems in my property.
Well, I guess
where we start.
First of all,
actually report to the public record.
So all that information you have cited,
a lot of it should be in the public record. If somebody gets your car, who it is,
insurance, not being cited for insurance, the whole all that information. Now, I can't speak as to why that wasn't put in there. And so,
who was the investigating department? Was it the Gretna PD, State Police, Jefferson Parish?
Gretna. The only thing he was arrested for is he had the outstanding attachments in Jefferson Parish going back to 2013.
Okay.
That's the only reason he was arrested, not to turn up a car or my neighbor's car.
Okay, so he was arrested he wasn't arrested for damaging your vehicle?
Nope.
Okay, well, I think you could go back to the, does Gretna have its own city attorney, district attorney, or is it Jefferson Parish?
Yes, Gretna.
They do.
Okay, yeah. I think you go to WJ in LeBlanc and see if, give them the other information, bring pictures of your car, and tell them that, it was also damaged, and see if they would charge them for hit and run or damage the property, or was it?
Yeah, or leaving the scene.
Leaving the scene, yeah. So maybe.
Did you ever leaving the scene? Do you have any proof of that? Anything other than your testimony?
Yeah. Well, my neighbor, when he was awoken by the sound of this guy tearing up our neighborhood, he saw the guy take off and run. And police so fast, by the time this guy said to his son, the coroner goes in, the police is already there. So when the police arrived, that's why I feel uncomfortable complaining.
Then my neighbor, okay, what you gotta probably do is give the information to the city of Gretna. Now, I will say this: there's some crimes that are committed that you can't prove, and that's why the district attorney doesn't take charges. And I'll give you an example. If you see someone who's loitering around your car, and then you shoo them off, and then an hour later you got your window bashed in, even though you may know that person did that, if there's no witnesses and there's no corroborating proof, you may know this is the guy who did it, but it's another issue as far as proving what occurred. And so, I mean, there are a lot of crimes that are committed that you know who did it, and you may know it by circumstantial evidence, but you still need to bring on proof from a district attorney's perspective to demonstrate, beyond a reasonable doubt that this occurred. So I don't know if it's one of those situations where, the DA says, yeah, I think he did it. It's just we have an evidentiary problem.
Well, but in this case you've got an independent witness that's going to say, hey, I saw this guy get out of the truck after the accident, run, and then somebody else claimed to be in the vehicle or be driving the vehicle. So I mean, I think with that, it's
so he got here right away, as they do in Gretna. But it's
I mean, I think what you have to do is bring that information to the district attorney, saying, I know he was picked up for the attachments. Here's some more information. Hopefully this can assist you in evaluating whether there are additional charges that should be submitted. That would probably
the city attorney's office, should be able to help you. Go bring your neighbor with you if he'll take a ride and say, look, I want to make a statement that this occurred. That policeman at the scene wouldn't take a statement or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Yeah, I've just got no response for anything.
You brought your neighbor to the district attorney's office to.
No. Well, he's got video from his camera, because he's got security cameras on his bus and everything. Yeah.
I mean, here's the other thing about the practical issue regarding prosecuting crime. Some people just don't want to get involved. I mean, that's a big problem in Orleans Parish. You have witnesses who just don't want to be involved in it and say, I don't want to testify. So you're going to have to get, you sort of have to bring the beef. You're going to have to get the information to the district attorney, and you have to have willing witnesses. And in absence of a willing witness, it's obviously difficult. All right, not the right answer, Sam, but that's the only answer we can give you. But thanks for the call. Wish you good luck, and hopefully this situation will be resolved. Let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, we can always all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL, the Big 870 AM and 105.3 FM. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
That one was a doozy.
Monday morning on WWL, we'll talk about
that conversation was a doozy, and that song is so good. It's to me, it's such a staple.
I got another one.
CEO of Jefferson Finance.
Just on a Beach Boys. You're gonna sit down at the table later and be like, you're gonna be kicking your feet, and Michelle's gonna be like, why do you have a big smile on your face? You're gonna be like, oh, Colin and I just jammed out the Beach Boys all day.
Yeah, I got another one for you. These are covers of another song.
Restrictions apply.
Hit me with it.
Safety information subscription required. Price varies based on
It's
product and subscription
Al
plan.
Jardine does it
Hey
again.
guys, did you know there's a generic form of
this-
Viagra that
it's,
works just the same, but is 95%
What is it?
cheaper, and you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name
Then He
brands
Kissed Me.
at up to 95% off.
Then He Kissed
That's right.
Me.
Get
It's a
generic
cover
for
of
Viagra,
of
the
a
same active
Ronette
ingredient
song.
as brand name Viagra.
Who's doing it? Beach Boys?
It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive.
I got it.
That's a good one. That's a real
To
good
start your
cover.
free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com.
Oh, dude, yeah, because the first time everyone really ever heard, the first time I ever heard the song "Goodfellas."
Yeah.
Goodfellas. The scene with the walking through like the like back of the kitchen area.
Yeah. But the Beach Boys sing it good.
Well,
You
take a few minutes to see the timeless
I've
beauty of
watched
our
every
diamond fashion
documentary
and stud
on
earrings at
YouTube
like my dad.
and Kiss.
All right, so yeah, we still have Chris from Jesuit Ben calling. I gave you guys the flood zone information because he gave me the flood zone information. His question is a bit of a doozy. I put it in the chat though.
Yeah.
He basically said he has a buddy, not him. He has a buddy who's moving into town. He's going to be buying a piece of property in full, cash. I don't know, but he's buying it in full. And the real estate agent told him that the previous homeowners purchased like a raised addition, or they purchased the ability to raise the house up in of itself because FEMA told them to, following Hurricane Ida or something like that. And he has to deal with the fact that because the home has been raised and like it has flood damage in the past, and the raised house proves that it is susceptible to future flood damage, the realtor was like, hey, when you buy this, you're gonna have to buy flood insurance. And he was like, I don't want to do that.
Resources, complete
Okay.
I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, I do not know the law, and I barely know. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know law, and I barely know insurance. But if you don't want flood insurance,
but he's gonna have a hard time.
The financial hardship consumers are
you don't want flood insurance. You want a burger with no bun. You want you're missing.
You don't have to get it. It's gonna be hard to
for you to lose your house and then all the money you just paid for that house.
Your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-514-1026. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can
your wages, savings, pensions, and even your Social Security check. 800-514-1026.
Consultation and
you qualify. 800-514-1026. You don't want to be continually waiting for the next news story to break.
Here's instead the free Odyssey app. With this station available on the free Odyssey app, you can get your local news and discover new stations from around the country. Also available, you can go deep into the topics you care about. Download the free Odyssey app wherever you get your apps to get the news you crave. Your news fix, your Odyssey. Now, more All Things
Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys.
All I'm thinking right now is Goodfellas.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri and Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Chris from Jesuit Pen. Chris, you on all things legal. What can we do for you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Got a question. A buddy of mine's moving down from Iowa. He's planning on purchasing a house in Jesuit Pen. The flood zone is 8E. The house was lifted after Ida. Thanks to FEMA money, I believe they received $90,000 to lift the house. So they brought it up, I'm guessing 7 feet, maybe 8. The real estate agent is telling him that he is compelled to maintain flood insurance on that house due to them having received FEMA money, the previous owner, even though he's paying cash for the house. And I'm wondering if he is in fact compelled, if he's compelled due to the fact that the previous owners received FEMA money.
Well, there's probably something that a title attorney could tell him. My guess is when FEMA invests that kind of money into a piece of property, that they want to make sure that their investment is safe. And so part of the deal, and it may just run with the land, but part of the deal that was made with the prior owner was, look, we're going to give you $90,000 to raise this house and, improve the base flood elevation by 7 or 8 feet. And so now, you're going to have to, any owner of this property for a certain period of time, or who knows, maybe perpetually, will be required by law to have flood insurance.
Yeah.
Because that would be recorded with the mortgage on the house. So that's something that
I would make the distinction that this house is being paid in cash without a mortgage, though, because there may be an exemption.
That's what I would think. What I've read in my limited research is that that's only if it's more the mortgage insured institution.
Right. So I would suspect that
obviously you won't be able to go back
law according to Doug. That they would not be.
I think that there's probably some sort of agreement that has been filed with the property, and that agreement will be,
flooded
part of the title that he's going to have to deal with.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So I would say that if you buy it, most sales are done with a mortgage. So a lot of times, real estate agents entitled, when they give you an initial opinion, they're giving you an opinion as if a mortgage will be on the property. So they may have done that, but I don't think you're not compelled to buy flood insurance. Now, you're just not. So if you want to take that risk yourself.
Jesuit didn't flood Katrina or Ida, like zero, other than rainwater.
Yeah. So it's just on a little bump. All right. Well, good luck to you. Thanks for the call. They had, just real quick.
Don't rely on the real estate agent. I would check with the title attorney who's doing the closing. They're going to do an abstract. And if there's some sort of document filed by the feds that requires them to have it, they may be required to have it, or there's some penalty or whatever the case may be where you might have to pay it back.
Yeah. So I would just double check that. It's interesting. We had a case with a real estate agent that on reliance with a real estate agent. It was interesting. Someone's buying a piece of property, and the opposing real estate agent said that this property is owned commercial, and they bought he made several representations that it was. He bought the property. The buyer bought the property. It wasn't his agent, and then he found out it wasn't commercial, and there was litigation as to whether that representation of the other real estate agent was that misrepresentation could be
actionable.
cause of action actionable? And the court said no. He said, if you have the ability to find out yourself, find out yourself. Don't rely
Correct.
on other agent. So in that case, uh, you just want to double check that. But I would suspect that if you don't want to get flood insurance, you don't have to. It's just that you may lose some rights in connection with it. But
Now,
I don't know.
again, there may be some sort of, agreement that's filed with the land saying that anybody that has flood insurance until this, we gave you 90 grand, we want to protect our risk. We don't have to do this again, but he needs to just check with the title attorney. Get an abstract on it. Don't rely on the real estate agent because, like you said, he can go down to the courthouse and probably check it himself. So.
Gotcha. All right, let's go to a break. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home of your New Orleans Saints. Always live on the
All right,
free
I got
Odyssey
one more
app.
for you. Beach Boys. Sort of fun
Listen
thing.
to
Heroes and
WWL
villains.
and your favorite shows anytime,
That's a good one.
anywhere on the free Odyssey app. Presented by the LCMC Health Preston City Classic. A race for all y'all.
All right, so real quick, just to verify, he dropped the E-pad at 9:16. How long was that? About it was right at the open of the sours, about 15 seconds to take probably. And then did you hit the ball in the last I couldn't tell if you did. I thought you did, but I couldn't tell. It might have been that you stopped talking right as someone else did because someone else and it just seemed like you did. I couldn't tell though.
When you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct, we'll give you a free.
I'm making note of the time so that the guys can look back at the remarks and see if there's anything on our end that occurred at the same time network-wise that might be causing this problem. So your show is being affected by them a lot less than the Home Improvement Show was yesterday and the Beach Show. We are going to end the program out with a caller though. We have one more caller, Larry from West Baton Rouge, talking about a landlord-tenant issue. He said he sued outside the limitations. I don't know what that part means, but he did want to get your an extra opinion on it.
Authorized retailer for all of the top.
And again, it's Larry from West Baton Rouge.
You'll also be able to choose your finance plan. Diamonds Direct now has a wide range of finance options with attractive rates and terms up to 60 months, so you can get the ideal setting to fit your style with the ideal payment to fit.
What part of the song you want?
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Store
You
hours.
want the opening? You want somewhere near the chorus?
Or in the chorus, yeah, that's good. No, the beginning's good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Hey guys, we'll open with it. Generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper, and you can get it online.
We're back for this last one was very short. So we're actually back about 4 minutes.
I got a good. For next week, we'll have funk.
100%
Funk?
Funk, like
and
the
trusted
Brothers
generic
Johnson.
alternative.
Dude, I
Stomp.
50% off.
will be
Ohio players.
Same
Fire.
ingredient as brand name Viagra,
The
95%
Bad
less.
Band.
It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider. Zero copay, no extensive appointments, and no face-to-face consultation. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive HIMS.com/joy. That's
and Larry again is the landlord.
HIMS.com/JOY.
No, we're going to take it away.
Yeah, it's just a couple of items.
We're back. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Larry in West Baton Rouge. We're calling from Port Allen or Bruley, somewhere up in there. What you got for us, Larry?
That would be Port Allen.
Yeah, on the river, on the river road. There you go.
And not too far away. I make you guys the landlord. I make you guys the good man. And I'm finished. And what I did, I let 10 years escape. I guess that's being too good. And I brought his party to court, and the judge, it was outside the description, and I just didn't realize that applied to the landlord tenant relationship. But nevertheless, guys, I was wondering if do I have a recourse? Do I have any? Do y'all have any recourse in getting y'all money from me? Like I said, brought her to court, and it was outside the prescription.
What was the nature of the cause of action? What recourse are we talking about?
What were you suing for? What were you suing for? What kind of recourse?
Back rent. She just took off in the middle of the night on me.
Oh.
I went out of town. I came back, of course, and you can see the tire tracks.
Yeah. So you got 3 years for collection of rents. So if you don't collect the rents in 3 years, it's not a 10-year deal; it's a 3-year deal. And so it prescribes, and you lose that right if you don't bring a lawsuit within 3 years from the last payment of rent. That's why when you're preparing a lease, what you want to do, there's something in a lease called imputation.
Like 15 seconds.
Okay, and you can impute payments to a certain amount. We can talk about it real quickly before we end. We got to take a hard break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
No, we don't.
Oh no, we don't. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, real quickly, imputation means that when you have a lease, you put it in your lease that any payment that you make is going to go to the oldest payment of rent. So you can even write on the check January rent when it's in January of this year. But if you owe rent from 6 months prior, in the lease it says, doesn't matter what you do, it's going to go towards that old rent. And that way it keeps your rent current and keeps your cause of action going a little longer. Anyway, so that's just a little trick that you put into a lease. It's you impute the payments to someone else. But yeah, he probably tried to sue this person for back rent, maybe found him down the road, and it was 10 years later, and it's too late. You got 3 years to bring an action for it.
And all cases have an I call it prescription expiration period. If you get in a car wreck, it's 1 year. For certain payments on maybe a promissory note is 5 years. Payments on a medical bill is 3 years, or a credit card from the last payment.
Money lends is 3 years. If it's a note, it's 5 years. That kind of stuff.
So, and the reason they have an expiration period is they don't want you to have an issue where 15, 20 years down the line, you're getting sued for something that happened, in the last century. And you're like, we don't have evidence. We didn't maintain the documents. We don't have the witnesses. So there is an expiration. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what is that indignation? Is that what it's called?
Impute, like when you impute, IMPUTE, imputation. And so what you're saying is you want to just say that when you pay rent, the rent's going to go, that rent, monthly rent, is going to go to the oldest amount of rent that you owe, the oldest date that you owe rent. So if you owe rent from 6 months ago and you didn't pay that month's rent for some reason, and you're just paying your current now, when you pay that rent, if it's in the lease, it's going to impute to the oldest date. So that way you don't lose that right to make a claim for that in the event that they stop paying.
All right, thank you.
Keep that in my
There you go.
There you go. Thanks for the call. Why I know about Port Allen for several reasons. One of the reasons I know about Port Allen is when you're at LSU on Sundays and you wanted to buy beer, you couldn't buy it in East Baton Rouge Parish. You'd have to go to Port Allen.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So there you go.
Thank you, Port Allen.
All right. Albert, anything to close? Got about 40 seconds.
No, I'm just have a great week, and again, thank y'all for calling early. We got a lot of callers in that first hour, and continue to do that because it helps the show flow a little better and keeps us from talking about sports all morning. So anyway, thank y'all for calling in.
About 15.
All right, so we'll see you on All Things Legal next week. Y'all have a wonderful week. Be good. See you next week. Stay tuned for LSU baseball at 2:30, playing North Texas State. Pregame 2:30, 3 o'clock first pitch. See you then.
Great job, gang. I'll see you next week. And
Thank
it's
you, Carl.
daylight savings next week.
Oh, shit. All right, gotcha. All right, have a good week.